So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ray Rich Brown, and this is the GMD Think Alike podcast. I've got an Aussie guest here, a very creative man, and we're going to hear his story. So, we'll just get straight into it, brother. So, what's your full name? Start there.
Okay, so my name is Kurt.
Kurt, yeah. Is it like your full name or like a nickname?
Nickname. Kurt is my full name.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my whole name, middle name, and surname, which is Kurt Gunther Zink.
Kurt the Sink.
So I know that sounds very foreign, but it's actually German. So my grandfather was German, and my grandmother was of Indian descent.
Yeah.
Hence the color.
Yeah.
And you know how the Germans love the chocolate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, I don't know this, but I need to learn. Belgian chocolate. I don't know.
Yeah, so a little about Belgium, Switzerland,
Yeah.
influence there. Yeah. So
Chocolate couple.
I hail from South Africa. Yeah, from South Africa. I have been in Melbourne now for 4 years. I came through on a work visa, and which I now on my PR. So
What is PR? What is like a sponsorship?
yeah, permanent residency. My permanent resident. Yeah, and just
What did you have to do, like, to get through that process? Is it quite like a difficult one, or
so my trade is carpentry.
really?
Yeah.
You could teach. I could have really used your help about 6 months ago.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about
This is YouTube, and yeah, from scratch.
So I had my own carpentry business in South Africa for about 15 years, and one opportunity came along. There was a ad that my wife saw in the paper, and she take a chance. Let's see, you never know what's
You can always come back and travel somewhere different.
Yeah,
It's a journey.
yeah. And it was a deep desire for me to actually stay in Australia since the age of 7. So I got family in Sydney,
Yeah.
and I've been coming to Australia since the age.
So you had already been here before.
Yes.
You knew what it was.
Yeah. So at the age of 7, came over the first time. I got 2 aunts in Sydney, and coming here, it just opened up my eyes.
Really.
I couldn't believe that I actually got family in another country.
The whole concept of it's like a different world.
Yeah. To know that I got some sort of tie to another country besides the one that I knew, like in Cape Town. Yeah, besides Cape Town. And my aunt, Auntie Gwen, she asked, amazing woman, really amazing. She stayed in contact with me, and she kept that flame alive and the fire alive inside of me, keeping me up to date with
Keeping you connected. Yeah.
that's it, keeping me connected, seeing what the opportunities is over here, and that I could
Feeling you. Eh?
yeah, and I could actually sort of compare where I was in Cape Town, what I was doing with the opportunities I was there compared to Australia.
Had the you always knew there was an option.
That's right. And that desire to come over here just grew and grew in about a year. And then, so I came here at the age of 7, then came again when I was 18 as a teenager, and then came again in 2015. At that time, I was married, my 2 sons and my wife, came over to Sydney. They had opportunities to meet all my cousins and my family as well. They loved it. I didn't want to just come over, and then they hated it. So I wanted to make sure that this was,
Be sure to be sure before you commit.
Let's all commit together. I didn't want it to just be from me, but I wanted to be an holistic
venture.
a group decision.
Because that's a big commitment and effort and then you come in and they're like, oh,
exactly,
I'm gonna go back.
exactly, exactly. And then so that was 2015. In 2016, late 2016, my wife saw the ad. Previously, I did try to apply to come to Australia, but you know how life is, you just get busy and it just sort of all just, you know, fades away. And this opportunity came. But
So,
you got in.
So 2015, you guys came as
Yeah.
and then you saw the ad in 2016.
Yes.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
things just
It just
fell in place.
that's it. It was meant to be. And the amazing thing with this ad is that I had to be under a certain age, and I was over.
Mm.
And
still, you could probably,
yeah. So that's what my wife said. Just take a chance, even though it's saying you had to be up to 40. I said, yeah, why not? Let's go for it. Yeah, they loved my resume, and I think the whole process took about a year from the start, right through the whole process. It was nerve-wracking.
yeah, of course.
But like, what did you have to do? Like, for example, submit everything that says who I am. So the character, everything, yeah. And the difficult part was, because I wasn't working for a company, I had my own. So I had to submit all that evidence, financial statements.
That would have been a headache.
Yeah. And then the funny thing was I had to prove that I was English speaking, that my first language was English. So even though I was schooled in English, I had all the evidence from primary school right through to high school, as well as technical college. I still had to go and do an English exam, an international English exam, just to prove that I was English speaking. Yeah. Which was got one issue. And the other thing was I needed to my carpentry qualification. So I had a carpentry qualification, but I had to transfer it into an Australian record. Yeah. So it's, yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then, yeah, I've been well with that. Yeah. Everything went smooth. I just took the whole process from, everything got submitted to the government, and it took 6 months before they came back with an answer.
6 months.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, congrats anyway.
Yeah. And that was in 2019. Yeah. Okay. So
then the pandemic hit, and then it was like,
yeah. And you know, so that was 2018. Yeah. So a lot of people was like, good. It's amazing that you actually done it. Yeah. Within that time, just before the pandemic, because there were people that struggled. They couldn't come over. So being in Melbourne, I've been indoors, for this period of time, and now I just want to get out.
Well, now we're starting to get out.
It's awesome. So yeah, so that's my story up to there.
Hey, but when you were 18, describe like what that was like, because when you're young and impressionable and you're like, it's so much grander. Yeah. So when you came back, did you still feel that level? Do you know what I mean? Or was it kind of like, oh yeah, it's so similar?
When I was 18, I, like I said, since the age of 7, coming to Australia, we used to buy,
open your eyes.
Yes, we bought like various items, like memento.
Yeah, just everyday kind of things.
A couple of those mementos were like
foreign
school rulers, like stickers that we stuck onto the fridge. We had erasers, and those sort of things, those little mementos. As I was at school, I'll be using it. I'll see this Australian flag. And it's like, I was always Oh wow! So you always like like meeting people, meeting friends. I always, I always slip it in there. I got family in Australia. So that opened up my eyes. So coming here when I was 18,
10, 11
yeah,
years of doing that and thinking that.
yeah, and I always wanted to come back. I was always drawn to this land down under.
Yeah. So what was it like when you actually came back?
At the age of 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt like I was back home again. This I felt like this was my second home. And even going back to my aunt's house, it was, yeah, I can't describe it, It's just that feeling of satisfaction and the
I'm back.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, also yeah.
So 15 years carpentry. What made you get into that?
So school wasn't ready for me. I wasn't really,
Not for most people. It's getting worse too.
yes, I couldn't fit in the box that they wanted with me.
Yeah.
And I always had a knack for what
Problem solving.
was
Things like that. Yeah.
yeah. My grandfather, he was a great influence on my life. He was a carpenter, joiner. So working in his workshop, when I was on school holidays, weekends, well, in his workshop, there always be shavings of wood where he'd have all these big, awesome machines. As a little boy, that's normal kid. Yeah, that's what I was obsessed with.
Yeah.
As he'd be working with wood, I was just doing my thing with little wood, little taking projects. Yeah, and I think that just sort of left an impression on me, and I was very artistic from a young age, and that combination of art
And the
wood,
expression.
yeah, it sort of went hand in hand.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I wasn't very academic, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with myself. So I thought, I love wood. Wood you use in buildings, I love art, what can we do together?
Look around you.
Yeah. I thought maybe architecture, maybe that's a way to do it. And then my father passed away when I was 13. So I was left with a household where my mother was breadwinner. She was the sole breadwinner. So financially, it wasn't really viable for me to go where I wanted to go. And then I I dropped out of school in year 11, and I went straight into technical college, South Africa. So at the technical college, there was an opportunity that came up with a tier one building company, and they were looking for apprentices to do.
And you're still young then, yeah? Oh, yeah. What age is that? Like 17?
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take it with both hands. I mean, none of my friends was working, so
really?
I would have been, I would have been the only one that was working and then actually had money. And I loved it because I was always hustling. Because, like I said, it was a single income family.
Yeah.
And I couldn't afford like the best shoes. Yeah. Like my friends all had the best clothes. They had the latest jeans at that time, like a Pepe jeans, jeans, and the best sneakers, whether it's like the Converse or NA Gear and all of that sort of. And I did these things,
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would like hustle. My mother would give me train fare to go to school, and then what I would do is not buy the ticket, and then I would jump train. But then I was saving the fare. And then honestly, I would got caught like a couple of times by conduct. But I would get out of it. So yeah. So all of that sort of formed my character and personality as I grew up. Hustler. Yeah. And then like this opportunity coming, hey, I can actually earn like some real money
And learn as a career path.
Yes. So my friends were still at school, and then I was obviously working. We were partying out. I was the one that was sponsoring them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the outlet. So yeah, but it was good. I loved it. I loved that I could actually have good fun and funny. Yeah, that
Young,
yeah,
first experience.
yeah.
Everyone around you is going through the same thing, so the excitement is there.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was good. And so going on, I sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, hustler.
Yeah, yeah. So making money from a certain age. Yeah, making money from that age.
Apprenticeship.
It's really really felt good.
Mm.
Um and oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Um, so my grandfather was that influence, and that's sort of why I went into carpentry.
Yeah, yeah.
And in South Africa, we couldn't really, um, well, with carpentry and as a trader here in Australia, you get recognized and you can earn pretty good living. And in South Africa, it's not that way. Tradies don't really get recognized. You sort of just on the border of the bread line.
Really?
If you're a tradie.
Why do you think that is? Is it like monopolized by big companies?
So um, Australia pays the highest minimum wage in the world. That's why the car manufacturing industry is back in Australia and with overseas. Yeah, the labor gets paid very well in Australia, whereas in South Africa, the labor rate is one of the lowest. That's why we have one of the highest unemployed rates probably the world in South Africa.
It's kind of like
labor is very cheap. Yeah, labor is very cheap there because it's in abundance. We've got an overpopulation.
Mm.
So, and in that way, it sort of controls the industry.
Yeah, regulates that.
Yeah, yeah, in that way, yeah. So, yeah, but I'm losing my thing.
No, that's right. So, like, why in South Africa is it not really viable to do like carpentry like it is here in Australia?
Okay, so they, yeah, like I said, the the rate that's being paid here in Australia, and I don't think, can't say nobody wants to do trade work here, but um, it's just such a, like there's a lot of kids, like my kids don't really, are also not really academic, but they're very good with their hands. And that's one of the reasons why I love coming to Australia, because they recognize tradies. You don't have to be academic to
Oh, so they don't really focus like on those sectors over there?
No,
So there's not really.
even though it is in need, and there's just such an abundance of men, and there's an abundance of labor.
Drives down.
It drives a lot of drives down. Yeah, that's why. And when my family got to hear that I'm a carpenter, they were like, "Look, you probably use the opportunity. Yeah, you gotta
Over here.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Trade is massive.
Massive.
That's why so many people go into trade.
When I heard that there's going to be the laborers are not allowed to travel at the back of the utes, because that's how we transport laborers in South Africa. So you as a tradie, you would have your ute, and then you put your laborer at the back of the ute. Right? So that's a norm for me, right? Because that's the only thing I know. And when I came over here, it's like, I don't know, you can just go to the site themselves. So you don't sell travel the back of you. Besides, it's illegal to do that.
Yeah.
So in South Africa, if you need a labor, if you need labor, or if you need, even if you need a trade, the trade doesn't have to be qualified, doesn't need papers or any tickets or anything. just comes to do a job. So if you need a laborer, or they say you need a painter. So what you do is you'll go to the traffic lights. We call it robots in South Africa. So you go you go to the robots, and then you will see a whole lot of bunch of guys standing by the robots, and then they will hold up a tool. So whatever the tool of their trade, yeah,
trade is.
so whatever the trade is, say they're a painter, they'll hold up like a roller or a paintbrush and say, okay, there's a painter, I need a painter. And you
look tall.
yeah, yeah. So you'll rock up there next to them, and you just point to one of them, and they'll come over. But normally it's not just one, but it will be a whole group of them that will come over, and they'll sort of like storm the vehicle. And then, look, you don't know them from above, so you need to sort of like sort of use your judgment on on which one looks honest and like hardworking,
and how do you negotiate like what's going on?
Yeah, so
do you do that? So one in there, or one drive off, and then okay, guys.
Yeah, once you got the guy, then you take him to a site, and then you like get out, and you like sort of negotiate and look, show him this is the job that I need done. It's gonna take so many days, so many hours. I'm willing to pay you this much. Are you okay with it? So
after negotiation, people just say,
yeah. After negotiating, so a lot of times they'll take the chance and they'll try and go for the highest rate. And then depending on what your budget
is,
so depending on what your budget is, and you sort of know what the going rate is,
level of hassle you want.
That's it. Yeah. So and then you'll just pay there for that day. But I had this one experience where, look, I was young. I started my business when I was like 21 years old.
Really
good. Yeah. And I was inexperienced. And I had this job where I had to do a house. I had to do a specific carpentry installation. But it was quite a lot of work. But I knew I could get it done if I really pushed the laborer as well as myself. And then we managed to smash it out. But the laborer felt that I sort of gave him too much work. And this work was more suited for two people instead of the one. Even though we got it sorted out and I helped him with a lot of things.
That's just the basic.
Yeah.
You want more productivity than overhead.
Yeah, exactly.
Without breaking anyone's spirit.
So he felt that I needed to give him
more money.
Yeah, not just more money, but twice the rate that we agreed to at the beginning.
That's part of the agreement.
Yeah.
Fundamental.
Yeah. I said, no, but look, we agreed to this rate. No, this is the budget that I set aside for laboring.
You have to honor it.
Yeah. Sit with me. I was busy driving, and this guy started, no, let me out of this car. He wanted to jump out to the car while the car was riding. I was like, I didn't know what to do. And the car that I had at the time, look, I started my business, I never had this car. The car had a problem with the door. You needed to sort of lift up the door in order to open the door. He didn't know that. He tried to open the door. He unlocked the door. So it was not open. He was trying to get out, and I didn't know what he was trying to do. And then eventually, I just took him close to my place, and then
told him to jump out.
And he stopped, but the guy didn't want to get out. And then I went to my brother-in-law's place, and he was a policeman. And then I said, hey, bro, I'm gonna do what you else can you shit. And he was busy drinking at the time. Yeah, he was busy drinking. You're right with his he was busy drinking at the time. He's with his friend, and both of them came out, and so they would have to listen. So opened the door and I said, hey, what's your problem, man? And then this guy's like, quiet. He's not saying a word. He wasn't performing with me at all, because obviously my brother was like much bigger and older at that time. And so he said, hey, just take your stuff and just go. And then I said, wait, just hang on. I gave him the money that we had agreed on. Yeah. And then he sent him packing. So that's the thing, was picking up guys that you don't know. But I must say that was only just a once-off incident. Most of the guys that I picked up by the traffic lights they're honest. All they want to do is just have an honest day's work.
Yeah.
Because they're just to feed their families or feed themselves.
And there's benefits too, by, I don't know what the tax system is there. Is it like under the table kind of thing?
Yeah.
So
no,
you keep 100%, which is that's more
which is the cash.
honorable.
Yes.
Keeping close, if not 100% of your earnings.
Yeah. So that was all on them. That's how it's happened in South Africa, and that's how it's still happening in South Africa.
I'm surprised like nothing scary happened, because I've heard so many stories about Cape Town. Not Cape Town. Cape Town's relatively nice from what I hear, but in other areas I heard this. Yeah, Joburg. I heard you shouldn't even stop it there.
It's no. It's the same. I can tell you what happened with another time. Where I did work for a school, and I did work for a contractor that worked at the school, and the area was a Black Township area, and we were going through the job, myself and the foreman of this job. And we were going through classroom to classroom, sort of assessing everything that needs to be done for the day. And we noticed these two guys walking behind us, but we didn't take note. Like, sort of, okay, this is probably laborers, and you know how it is on sites. Everybody's everywhere. And we entered this classroom. We had a discussion with the electrician on work that needed to be done, and we noticed the same two boys behind us, and they closed the door. Didn't think anything of it.
Was it a bedroom?
Yeah, it was a classroom
Size, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, these guys pulled out guns. This guy put a 38 special against my chest.
Really?
Another laborer put a 9mm against the foreman's chest. And
These young guys?
Yeah, young guys, yeah. And then they started to rob us. I said, give me your wedding ring. I was just married at that time. Took my wedding ring, which was my father's ring. Took my cell phone, and then the foreman. They knew the foreman had a gun, so obviously it was an insider job.
No,
and they had information from the guys that was working on site. They knew he had a gun, and they persisted that they wanted the gun from him, and he never brought the gun. Threatened to actually shoot the electrician. They said, get on your knees, and we could immediately recognize what they wanted to do. They wanted to do shooting execution stuff. And we stopped the whole thing. We put ourselves in front of these guys and the electrician. We said, no, that's not necessary. You got this, you got everything you need. We don't have a gun. What else do you? And we sort of argued with them. So we didn't think about the guns and our lives at this point, but we were like sort of want to protect this young boy. And then luckily they just backed off. In the meanwhile, my laborer was busy unloading my ute.
outside.
Yeah, or taking all the tools out of the ute. He had the ute's keys, and they put us into a cupboard. They said, "Don't get out of this cupboard." Then they exited the room and they went to my laborer, and obviously they got the guns wielding and showing, and they said, "Give me the keys." Took the keys off him, got into my ute, and still told him to go and open up the gate so they can drive out. And then my laborer just went running. He just panicked by the time. And then at that time we got out the cupboard because we could see it was they left the room. And then as I opened the cupboard and I looked out of the window, I could see my youth leaving the premises, driving off.
And you knew straight away.
And it's like going past the traffic lights. And I was like, oh no. That's funny. I just bought the youth. I just bought the youth. And the funny thing was, he was like a traffic police officer by the other set of lights, and I couldn't even wave him down. I could see it. Yeah, it was too far. I was in the classroom still. Oh man, it was the feeling that I got from that moment was.
You got threatened with a gun, then you got robbed. Valuables that you could never get back. Irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable. My father's in.
And then your youth.
It's just man, and I never got insurance. I was gonna know insurance,
so you can't even rely on that.
Like I said, I was young, inexperienced. I didn't know.
That's why insurance is so important to me. But yeah, you only know that after the fact. Yeah, but even your father's ring, like if you don't get that, they can't replace.
So, okay, so
what a great story.
Yeah. So what I did was, I immediately phoned my brother-in-law. So, like I said, he was in the police force. Yeah. I told him what happened.
You got a hold of him like soon after?
Yeah. So he said, okay. I told my whole family what's going on. Told my wife, I'm okay. This happened. Told my mother-in-law. She's a fervent prayer warrior. So they actually had a prayer meeting by our house at that time. And the ladies that was in that prayer group, they were on fire. Oh God. And I put in that prayer request. I said, please pray for me.
Given the energy.
Yeah. I said, good. Let's say about it for you in this situation. So now God, my family's now behind. And then obviously I reported it to the police. And then about 2 hours afterwards, I got a call from police.
Sunday?
Yeah, I said that. Got a call from police. Hey, Kurt, guess what? We picked up your youth by this one place with identification description matched your youth. I said, oh, good. And then I sort of wanted to arrange so that I can be picked up and then collected. And then as I was arranging it, I got a call back to say, sorry.
not your youth. It's all right, I'll take it anyway.
Oh man,
I'll accept it.
And it was hectic because I had this feeling of, elation, and it's like, yes. From being down, from being down and just like depressed, and got this call, yes, got it, and then back again down. It was crazy.
Yeah, roller coaster.
Yeah. And then in the meantime, so I was to go and speak to the main contractor that I was working for, and I tried to work out something, see no ways that they got maybe insurance.
It's happened on the premises, so maybe
they could utilize. And we were busy talking. I had my father-in-law with me at that time, sort of just helping me along to sort of work out what we can do and get over this. Luckily, all my tools was taken out of my youth. I had that. That can be expensive. And it's up.
Yeah. But unloaded.
Yeah. But look, the youth was still the yeah. Expensive. And then in the meanwhile, my brother-in-law was working on it, and he knew. So he knew the area, and he also knew the police in that area as well. And then the afternoon side, he gave me a call. He said, Kurt,
yeah?
I said, Park, are you sure?
Yeah, because you was
not calling him to say, are you not a somebody that I'm not just gonna, get all excited and say, nah, Kurt, back up to you. But show you. I believed it. And then he came to fetch me, and then we went to the police station. It was my new. Only thing that was missing was the canopy. And I was like,
the canopy? Like, how does the canopy? Just on the back?
The canopy's the back part. Yeah, that was the only thing that was taken off. So what was
everything else was okay?
Everything else was okay.
No damage.
Yeah,
a little bit.
just the
Roughed up.
the keys was missing. But
You can get replaced.
yeah. And what they said was, one of the police was patrolling in this certain area, Black Township area, and they noticed the youth and they reported in, and they could see now it was missing or stolen.
Yeah.
And then they interviewed witnesses that was in that area, and they said yes, there was guys that was actually offloading a hot water unit. And then they just walked over the railway line and never came back to the unit. So I don't know, maybe they were just gonna go and drop off this hot water unit and come back. But by then, the police actually already spotted it, and actually, so okay, God just moved in that at that time, and just was it was the best feeling ever.
The relief. Yeah.
The relief, man. Yeah, so that's just one of the stories of working in South Africa. You can't, yeah, it's not boring at all.
Not organ at all. That would have been a roll. So
Yeah, I mean, and that was just the beginning of when I started my business. So obviously, learning from that experience, I sort of just built on, on experience.
yeah. Did you ever carry like any protection after that? Did you feel like?
Nah, I wasn't one for guns, even though my father was a policeman.
Yeah.
He always had a gun around him, always had a gun on him, but that was his job. Yeah. But I wasn't really into guns.
You didn't feel like you needed it?
Nah, feel like I needed it. I just thought I didn't want to, if I had to use it and kill somebody, I don't think I would have been able to know.
It's true. Yeah, you don't think about that.
Nah, persons out. Although I believe just before leaving South Africa, I did have a pellet gun.
It's like air pistol,
like an air pistol.
Yeah.
That I drove around with the air pistol. So if I ever were to use it,
yeah,
at least
it don't
sting them. Yeah.
Probably wouldn't be fatal.
Nah. So yeah, so I thought, but just take it to that point. I'm not gonna take it to you.
Yeah.
Just one of the roads in South Africa, one of the many roads in South Africa, they would actually have oranges or potatoes. Then what they would do is they would stick the nails through the oranges or potatoes. So make it sort of into like sort of like a spike, like a spiked ball, and they would make a whole lot of it and just throw it off a freeway bridge, and then cars would ride over it, obviously. And then once they stopped, pull over to stop, then they would go to the actual car and evacuate off the car. That's sort of the extent, but it's again because of the unemployment rate. Yeah, people go to those sort of desperate measures to actually get an income.
So what's is it like the highest unemployment or lowest unemployment rate?
It's the highest unemployment.
Oh, I thought you said the other one.
Yeah, no, it's the highest
unemployment rate. So a lot of people need work, and people get desperate sometimes.
Exactly. A lot of them do a lot after something. Yeah,
they go to desperate measures.
Correct. Yeah. It's sad. Yeah. And it was just getting worse. And that was the reason for my decision. Like I said, besides the desire, it was just getting to a point where, like,
just make the step.
Yeah, it was the unemployment rate as well as the political situation.
Yeah.
It having an effect
on everything.
Yes. So it was sort of the reverse of apartheid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Whereas we were labeled as sort of like a mixed race. So being of mixed race would be, also white descent and a black descent. And so therefore we were always in the middle. So we're in apartheid,
so no one either other side didn't watch you.
Yeah, not really didn't want, but we weren't getting the privileges as a normal citizen would get. So either, like I said, you weren't white enough, you weren't black enough. So in apartheid, obviously, the whites would get full full benefits, full privileges. But now, the way it's happening now is that blacks would get the full. And again, it's not on the people, but it's on the government when the government has it. So I was concerned about my kids. How would they be growing up? Would they get the same?
Discriminated.
Exactly. So with education, work opportunities, they would
You get a social life too.
yeah. And the way they set it up with jobs, they would recognize companies for employing more of a certain color, a certain background. And I didn't want to kill my kids. I wanted to do, and that, again, coming back to Australia, just what they stand for and how they present opportunities to people, artists.
And the character of the person, rather than the appearance.
Yeah.
There's an thing, right? But it still exists.
So it was a no-brainer. And again, this opportunity just came.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, man.
You started a success story.
Yeah.
Still in the early beginnings.
Yeah. And I always say, and I say to everybody, it's not about the destination, but it's about the journey. You've got to enjoy the journey. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it's all about. Enjoying the journey.
Yeah. It's that road trip through life. Yeah. So, yeah. So, and then coming here, I felt like I was sort of on the back foot.
Yeah.
So the company that brought me over, the director was a South African, and he started his business here in 2000. And so he started to get over being over South African, specifically South African, because he knew the background and work ethics.
Yeah, and that maybe they would be more happy with the benefits and the agreements that,
Correct. Yes.
but still benefit the company to grow the scale.
Yes. And then we so we did a lot of school work in schools, and I had to, even though I had my own company for like 15 years, I knew with this opportunity I needed to take maybe like a lower salary just so that I could get in, and I was fine with it. Just so that I could go with you in somewhere, exactly, get my feet in the door, maybe network. That's fine, right? And then so now at the moment, I've now more managerial position at another company. And then hopefully probably see what opportunities are onwards and upwards. That's right. That's awesome. Yeah.
So the way that we met was through painting.
Yes.
Just on the universe works. This came together.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
I painted over some of your stuff by accident. Obviously we couldn't. But yeah, so we got together on a painting level. Yeah, it's very a unique kind of thing.
Yeah.
So what got you into the painting side?
Oh man,
After all you've been through,
yeah,
you've always had that creativity in you, expression. So where did the painting medium come in? Was that already like from the school days, the dabbling, and then you did on the side throughout life?
As a kid, my mother noticed that I was always drawing and the art. Yeah, always doodling on paper. School as well. I always got commended for my artwork. You always get that kid that would always be drawing other people, trying to draw faces. So much so that for art projects they would approach me. Yeah. And then again, I was on the face of I was always into the hustle. So I said I want to get outside, so I would actually charge them.
Oh yeah, I feel like a real hustle.
I would actually charge them to do their homework and an assignment. And then in high school, I actually got into trouble It actually costed me. It costed me actually to be kicked out of school of art.
What?
Yeah. So in high school,
That's how you get kicked out.
so in high school, I just like I said, I love the hustle, and I was doing the side hustle.
Yeah.
Instead of actually doing my own assignment. So I neglected my own
For like a long period of time.
yeah, for like, I think it was for about 8 months. I was doing everybody
Like nearly the whole year, isn't it?
yeah. So I was doing everybody else's drawing assignments
Except for yourself.
in woodwork.
Oh, so you kind of
Yeah.
teachers knocked on you.
So this is the interesting part. So I did the side hustle. I did everybody's drawings, and then I got lagged behind in my own assignments.
Mm-hmm.
The teacher gave me the opportunity to catch up with my assignments.
Well, extended
The period of time that it needed to be handed in.
Yeah. Extended deadline.
Yeah. And then a couple of days later, I came back to him. I said, "Hey, I don't have any paper, A4 paper. Could you please provide it?" And he's like, "What? You didn't even start it?" And he's like, "No, I'm not going to give you the chance anymore." And then he just failed woodwork. But can you see the irony of it?
Yeah.
I
You
failed
did woodwork.
I failed woodwork. Yeah. But I'm a qualified carpenter.
Yeah. Qualified carpenter.
So yeah, so that's our art got me into trouble. But that was just the start of it. Yeah, going at school. Yeah, I loved art. It was like if if I would get to get people from my high school days or primary school days, they were always ask, "Are you still drawing?" So yeah, so
So you always had that reputation.
I always had the yeah. And I loved it because it defined me.
Yeah.
And so coming into my teenage years, and as a teenager, you always want to identify something with something, with a crew.
Yeah.
But you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
At the stage where, yeah, you're at the stage that you don't know. Yeah, you haven't found each other yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is next? That's it. And like I said, my father passed away when I was like 12, 13, so didn't know who I was. And then my cousins, they were also really autistic as well, so it was in our family. And then they were listening to this music. And they said, "Hey, Kurt, gotta listen to this music, man." They were always playing it. I also started to grow on me. Music grew on me. And I was like, "What is this music?" I said, "Now they call it hip hop." Oh, man, I like it. So I said, "Well, yeah." And then I discovered more. I looked more into it. I discovered these actually elements, and I was like, "Oh, cool." And I wasn't really good at MCing yet, but then I found out, hey, there's actually art. That's actually one of these, one of the elements.
Elements.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. So I was like, wow, this makes total sense. I want to stick. I love hip hop, It only made sense to me, to graffiti. But yeah. So I just, so that's what I was doing. I started and I looked at the people's different styles, artist styles. I was wondering, like, how do I get my style? I mean, there's so many artists up there. Everybody got their own style. How am I going to get my style? So that was the challenge as a young graffiti artist, how to get to develop to your own. Yeah. And then I would always talk to other graffiti artists that was more established, the first generation, second generation graffiti artists. And then they would actually help guide on how to actually formulate the style, like working with technique, things. And so myself and my cousin, we formed a crew called the THC, teenage. So at that time we were dabbling a bit weed.
Play on words. Huh?
Yeah. And then but we also focused on THC and T for trigger, H as in happy, and C for cancer.
Just to have
Together. Yeah. So I ended up playing on words, and then the crew grew to about, I think, about 5 members.
Yep.
6 members. One of the members, he was a battle MC.
So you had like a couple of you guys.
Yeah. Marco. Yeah, so Marco, he was labeled as like one of the top like battle MC, in Cape Town. There was a club called the Base, and that was like the only hip hop club at that time.
Yeah.
And he was like, guys would have battle competitions.
He was up there.
Yeah, no, he was really top. But he was also a long-standing graffiti artist as well. And he also had an awesome style, awesome characters as well. So, and we stayed like a couple of blocks away. We never even knew each other. Until this one time with a wall, and I put my phone number on the system. And I know graffiti artists don't really do it.
You want to be anonymous?
Yeah. But that was actually a legal wall. That was a legal wall. I was going to get you to what kind.
Oh yeah. If she wants to contact you for more work.
Yeah. So he was also
before Facebook and all these social things.
That's it. Yeah. So I just put my phone number there. And I got a phone call one day and said, "Hey, want to hook up? This is what I do. This is who I am." And then we knew such a lot of hip hop heads in the area.
Working for there.
We had so much in common, and
meeting and connected other people. You addressed.
Yeah. So so he met my cousin as well. And the crew just grew from there. We did a lot of missions together. A lot of missions.
I'm sure you got a lot of stories.
Yeah. As you should. Yeah, exactly. And then I remember this one time we were my cousin, we were actually we got approached by a DJ, but he was in the rave scene in the 90s.
Yep.
And then he just he approached us and he said, "Look, I don't want to go the traditional way of advertising my record company, but I want to use you guys actually to bomb
murals."
Yeah, it wasn't even a mural. It was just it was just tagging. Yeah, just tagging his sort of logo.
Yeah,
all over Cape Town.
Which is smart.
Yeah. Because because he's sort of related to street.
Yep.
So he wanted to use us. Yeah. And so that was a fun night because he had like a panel van. And then he loaded us up at the back.
Yep.
So there was two
had a little plan, or you?
Nah, he was like, "Guys, what are we gonna do? I'm just gonna start at a certain wall, jump out,
you do your thing, and be back in the middle of 2 minutes."
Yeah, that's it. So that's how we were going around, just driving around certain streets.
How many people?
He would just park by a wall, so his panel van would sort of block out. Block it up, and he would still jump out. No, I think I get into the van. Yeah, that's fun.
I think about that kind of method too.
Yeah.
This comes natural.
Yeah.
Graf. You always have an eye for it.
That's it. So
we make the perfect advertisers there.
Yeah, just to like the Amos fade. So just
Famous
know,
fame.
yeah,
That sums it up.
yeah.
Famous.
um, my even though we do that, I was the only one that wasn't trained.
Oh, really? Like out of your crew?
Yeah, yeah.
A
They
crane.
all,
No, for people that don't know, trains is like
yeah,
that's where you get
yeah.
top respect within the team.
Yeah, that's right. And
What was it like doing trains on? Yeah. Was it like pretty dangerous? It wasn't dangerous.
wasn't
Did
dangerous.
was doing?
There wasn't a lot of people that when I did it, I was one of the first.
Too, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on news.
I was one of the first. There wasn't a lot of people doing it back then. There was another crew that was doing it around about the same time when I started.
Yeah, yeah.
And because the hip hop community is so small in Cape Town, we eventually hooked up and we got to know each other. But going on the trains was, oh man,
Train yard,
it was an addiction.
off and stuff and everything, or was it open back there? I feel like there's a need to securitize it.
No, they didn't know. There was no need to actually
Patrol.
Yeah,
This is always.
yeah. But it was very, yeah, it wasn't really effective the way that we controlled it.
Yeah.
So we
Probably wouldn't be now.
security guards. Yeah.
Yeah. They would have been growing.
Yeah, the security guards was only there to really just to make sure that there was no vagrants sleeping in the trains.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or on a
Vandalism, oh, like damage.
or just to say yeah, they are controlling. So they weren't really on top of it because nobody was really doing graffiti or train.
So it wouldn't be the
Yeah.
primary focus.
Nah,
Whereas now, I think it's very heavy.
all across because obviously they know about it now. Yeah, that was just another high. Every time I think of it, like how I used to go in
It
there.
also describe like the whole process for you.
So what I would do is obviously watching videos, seeing magazines and how it looks, and
Would that like hype you up, or more like your planning side of things?
oh yeah, that like I said, that was my other addiction. What's really
It's exhilarating.
yeah. It was everything.
You don't know until you.
I didn't need to drink. I didn't need to smoke weed, to get that high. It was just all natural.
It's dopamine to
Yeah. And like I said, after really excited me. Yeah. After really excited me. It's just drawing on a paper.
Yeah.
Not do some, but
Yeah,
you do it on a train. Oh man, different to our whole next level. Yeah, and like I said, the aim of fame to see your name traveling around, a rolling canvas all over the city, and
You don't know how far that train's going to go.
yeah, and I used to travel train because I used to take the train to work, and then I would hear how people would actually like when the train rocked up with a piece onto the platform, and people will be looking at it and commenting on it and saying, "Oh, I do this." Oh, I like that. Give it criticism. But meanwhile, the artist is behind them listening to you. Oh man, it was like a whole. I guess it was a whole other high.
Yeah.
But on that,
None of that mysterious.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. And then so I was doing that. I wasn't doing it. I was doing it at a time. Like I said, there wasn't much guys doing it, and
Which is good for you.
yeah. So my name was there. It was really sort of getting around, and then also hooking up with other crews that started to do trains as well around about the same time. To school, there was this one night where we always used to go at a certain time. Like we'd rather be late in the night. But didn't want to do it too early. I would say about 11, 12 o'clock. So that's sort of, yeah,
Not too like early hours in the morning, because you're going to be there for a little
yeah,
bit. Yeah.
exactly. And they would always try and do didn't obviously want to make a noise, but you would need to have sort of guys that we look out for guards. But the guys, we just want to operation. Yeah, the guys wouldn't just want to look; they'd also want to paint. So we each sort of took it on ourselves to sort of
like take turns?
do an outline, and then look, make sure everything's fine, and then do another fill in or whatever. But we always need to have our ears sort of, peeling up, making sure that there's no footsteps.
The gravel moving.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the thing with the stone. At least the stone can move and stuff, so you can sort of pick up.
Yeah, that sound.
Yeah. But what we did is, with this one crew and my crew, we sort of hung out. We did like had like our house party because the parents weren't home.
Yeah.
So we were a whole lot of graph writers, and we were like, at the time it looked like a good plan. The graph writers, and we were just gonna go there.
Whenever you start off with it looked like a good plan.
Yeah. And we were just gonna go out and go and bomb the yard.
Why not? Excited.
Well, there's something common. Do it.
And had you guys been out before, like doing it, or was this like just like I do it? Do you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Was it like that? Not actually saying it, but like more like you do trans.
No.
I was good.
So what happened was that there was one artist that was sort of the center point. Like everybody knew this one artist. So he sort of set up a bench meeting. Bench study. Yeah. Set up a meeting. And we all the graph writers at this one subway shop that we met at, and then we all met up at this venue, and then we all got introduced and started talking and sort of drawing in the black books, and so we all took each other's numbers, and that's how we all connected. So obviously we're gonna be talking about all our deep dark secrets.
Operations. Deep missions. That's it. And you have to do like mission kind of and for training.
And that was one of the things that I loved, is that with graffiti, we can be opposite people, the people of different color, diversities, culture, backgrounds, but we're
political views.
Yeah, but when it comes to graffiti, we are one thing in common. So all of
that's why and what's not.
Yeah. So all of those things just you don't see anything. So with the whole cultural thing and the background of apartheid, the whites didn't really mix, or various colors couldn't mix with each other. It wasn't seen as politically correct. So we didn't know much about each other. And at this party, it was just the white folks, which is white graffiti artists. But again, us as our people of color, didn't get seen as that, because we had this common bond that bonded us as brothers.
And even some sisters sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And so with this night,
it's like a secret society. Yeah?
Exactly, yeah. So for this night, we it was heading up to this time, and we noticed one of the guys wasn't there. So he foresaw that, because obviously we were drinking, we were loud, and he was already thinking to himself, nah, this is not gonna go down too well if we're gonna go the whole group. Yeah. So he really went on his own to start his piece in the yard. The yard was just about a 15-minute walk from the
Nelson.
Yeah. So so when we noticed, where's he? He's already gone. Okay, let's go. Let's go to the field. And then it was
intoxicated.
We got to the yard, and then we were like, what's up? Why didn't you tell us now? And he was like, no, I wasn't gonna risk, piecing with you guys, and you guys are all drunk and everything.
Sloppy. Yeah, you have to be top notch. Exactly.
So I said, okay, I guess. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, cool, man, speak that. And I'm telling you, he was spot on. We did our pieces, but it wasn't really quiet. We were like making it around. Yeah, we were. Awesome. But it was good fun, and yeah, there was no security. Yeah.
Nothing, no security stuff.
Then you're all right. That was good. So when we saw those pieces, we knew we could relate to that night. It was a fun night. You know,
Do you have photos like from a lot of the stuff?
I do, yeah. Like photos of every train that I did, except for the first train that I did.
Yeah.
First one I was off.
It's not easy to get photos if you do a train. I would.
No,
No, saying that I did a lot.
I've done a bus.
Oh, yeah. I always thought, why don't people do buses? Like, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And so there was a bus.
So it's a red line, like, no,
Yeah.
no, do buses.
Yeah. So there was a bus terminus that was near my place of residence as well. And one night, but that I did on my own, and that was in the ghetto. Yeah. So it wasn't just that I had to look out for
level of danger.
It was next to the police station.
Triple threat.
So it was the ghetto.
Yeah.
That was the police station, as well as we were
Legal activity.
they were coming with security. Yeah. But it also went well. They were got caught for that one. But when I did get caught was it was when like I said, I was smoking weed at that time. So we were high. We were high as
I've never like smoked. I'm not really like understanding, like fully comprehended, like what's going on there. So you explain to me like what that's like.
I used to get inspired when I smoked weed.
A lot of people say that you
Yeah.
creative.
I got so creative. The ideas that I had came up was lighting up, and that's why I saw that I didn't see anything wrong with it
I
because
don't see anything wrong.
yeah,
And I've never smoked, so I
Yeah.
didn't say it.
but at that time I came with other things because I suffered from like sort of depressive states, and it was related to smoking. So even though I haven't smoked since I was a kid, I don't do it anymore because I'm just relying on myself. That's from that. But at that time, as a kid, you easily influence and certain views that you have.
And like a normal person, you want to experiment. You want to see for yourself.
Yes, you have to. And
And
you know, best way to learn, and I believe it's one of the only ways to learn really, to actually to do it and actually fail. Once you fail, you know. Yes.
I mean, you don't have to fail, but fail is just part of the learning. If you don't fail, then it's less learning. So
Exactly. You're not gonna learn in a specific way. That mission to on the bus as well. That's one I'm a bit disappointed on. I never got to actually take a photo of it.
oh, the bus.
Yeah. Oh, I thought at least maybe I could at least, get a photo of it or
Yeah, because it's tricky to get.
I couldn't take a photo of it because I was between two buses as well. And it was quite narrow, dark. What I should have done was I should have actually maybe laid low until the morning and let the bus come out and then we could have a photo. But I thought maybe
We'll have to go through.
yeah, it's a full mission. But after at least maybe I could see it on the road or
I can't always rely on that.
nah.
See, that's another thing. Like something that people don't consider is when you do things like that, documenting is very important to the process. Yes, and it's almost like the mission in itself. Sometimes you got to wait for some sunlight before you can get a decent photo.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
expensive camera and lenses that you got around painting as well. So sometimes you got to camp out.
Yeah.
I've had a time where we painted a wall on a main street in this big loft, big old thing anyway. And it was dark, so we thought we'll come back early the next morning, 6 a.m. in the morning. One of the boys came back and it was already tagged over. Yeah. So he got there 6, just as the break of dawn, and some kids had already kept us.
Wow.
Just an example of like it doesn't stop with just painting. Nah, you got an alphabet. Nah, nah. And it's sad because so many things that are painted that I haven't, like, I still don't have any record of, I wasn't thinking in the early days, yes, I'm just saying document it and like keep it safe because you'll document it, but then you go through so many hard drives or like your hard drives will break. You don't know how to recover, or like on old computers and just get to transport.
That's what happened to me one side, a hard drive, a lot of photos in there. And then I had to sell the hard drive, and I forgot to actually.
Unless someone else documents it, sometimes it happens. I was actually looking yesterday online at like some old stuff that I did. I was just scrolling at like Google search. Oh, so many things. I was like, I don't remember doing this. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah. So like sometimes other people document to the good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had an art form.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what happened with the train. I got caught.
Oh, you got caught on train.
Yeah. So this mission. So this is like a weird setup because this belonged to the government, this train, but the train was converted into like a restaurant. So as you drive on the train, this train is sort of parked on the side of the actual railway lines. So it still looks like a train from the outside, but on the inside, it's actually a restaurant that's on the side on the train track.
So does it run on the track?
No, it's just parked on the side.
Cabin on the side,
Yeah, it's a cabin on the side. It's all on tracks, and so if you look out on the outside, you can actually see that it's a train. It's got all the wheels and everything, but on the inside, they actually utilize it as a restaurant.
Yep,
right. So obviously, it's a business. It will be alarmed and everything. As the business is. And then drive. As I said, I took trains to work back and forth, and I noticed that this looks like a train. Here's a train. I didn't
stationary.
Yeah, it's stationary.
So it'll be there.
Exactly.
Don't have to time it.
Exactly. And it doesn't get patrolled like a normal train, Perfect. Easy.
Easy target.
And then I planned it all out, and I had all my paint equipment, and I had a friend with me at that time as well. But again, we were smoking weed. And so what we we decided to first smoke up, and then stop.
Was that around relax? Anything creative?
This
part of your process. Get you in the zone.
That's it. That's right. Get the creative juices flowing. Started to paint up.
All good. You and how many other people?
That's just one other.
You and one other friend.
Yes. And it's going good. And I was like, this is easy, man. And I'm busy with my my final outline. And we heard the alarm go off, but I felt like a car alarm. I ignored it.
It was like a faint.
Like a faint. Like I was like, probably one of the.
Yeah. It wasn't like a blaring thing.
No, blaring. Meanwhile, like I said, I was high at that time. Senses is dull. I didn't realize it was actually the alarm of the plate that I was actually busy on. And like I said, I was busy with my final outline, and I just heard, hands up, whoa, behind me. I look, and I start running.
But what did you see when you looked? Did you just saw someone figure? You just saw a figure.
I saw this figure, and he held the position of when they holding it down, pointing it down. And I was like, screw this, I'm running. And I jetted off. And then I was like, where's my friend? And I looked at him, but he was like, stupid eye. Oh, so he froze.
Like a deer.
She's like a deer. Like that. And I was the type of friend that I was going to just lead my buddy.
Yeah.
Especially when it's my... Yeah. Yeah, especially when it's my idea to go and swing to the... I can't go and leave the gun and take a fall for it. Oh, man. And then I stopped.
That story will keep coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your idea, exactly.
Yeah. So what happened after now? So I stopped, and then
did you assess what's going on?
Yeah.
How many people?
Yeah. So there was like 2 security guards working for the security company that patrolled it. And then they called the police. Police rocked up. And then they could see like we were just kids, man. We weren't like breaking in or anything. We were like just naughty kids.
Then you would have done like your final outline, so it would have looked decent in the dark.
Yeah.
So you're like taking some care.
Exactly. And then called the police. They arrested us.
So you just went back to where your friend was and kind of like,
I was like,
calm them
okay,
down.
okay, we got caught, fine.
We're just doing this.
Yeah.
We're not gonna go.
Yeah. But now it's labeled as malicious damage to property, right? So obviously they have to do their job. Accepted it. That's fine.
Police
came, put us in the back of the police van, and obviously they found the packet of weed as well. Which wasn't a good thing to have on us. And they took all the evidence of all the paint, took us to the police station, and then placed us in a holding cell in the police station. And I've never ever been in a holding cell. Yeah. And luckily for us, there was nobody. There was no prison.
No one else. It's a hassle.
It was just me and you.
Oh, so you guys in the same one?
The same one.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
You can have a laugh together.
They could see we were kids, man. We weren't like hardened criminals or gangsters. And
hustlers.
Yeah. And this was around about, I'd say 3 o'clock in the morning that we were placed in the holding cell. And they took the shoelaces out of our shoes before putting us in the cell. And I was like, why would you think I'm shoeless?
Yeah, protocol.
Yes. And then afterwards I found out
why they do it.
Yeah, why they take the shoelaces up. And
it's a bit extreme.
Yeah. I could fully understand why
the logic,
they took the shoelaces up, because the feeling of depression, the feeling of like wanting to actually take your life, because it's like, you just, I don't know, it must have just been like a spirit that was in that only cell. It just felt like
maybe it will happen so many times before.
Yeah,
the energy state of
the energy is like, just wants to like you sort of just want to kill yourself, because you in this sort of state and in this box, you feel like you like a loser, you worthless.
Yeah, no, I guess it makes sense, because even though you guys were in for like just like a lesser kind of crime,
misdemeanor,
or misdemeanor, but then where do the policemen draw the line for someone who's done like a serious thing, and then they're like, I can't live with this, so they can't really draw the line in the middle. It's just better to just hang from it.
And we obviously, like I said, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. We were tired. We didn't want to sit in that holding cell. There, like every corner smelled like urine. The blankets that was provided for us, we didn't want to touch it. We didn't know if it was flea infested. Who was sleeping on those blankets? I mean, we were decent kids. We were middle class kids. We weren't, used to this sort of situation and all. And then so I don't know what we did. We just sort of just stood on a wall that smelled like the least like urine. And we then the policeman came to actually provide breakfast for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you had breakfast?
That breakfast didn't look too appetizing.
What was it? Ends?
Yeah. Bit of bacon.
And oats?
Then that.
And what could it be?
So it was like thick slices of bread.
Yeah.
I think it was like six or eight slices of bread. No margarine, no butter or anything.
Direct bread.
Just plain bread.
Soft bread.
Or just I don't know. I didn't eat.
No.
And they gave us this big dirty kettle that had tea in it, and they gave us some glass some tumblers, like the metal tumblers, just to drink out of. And so just
Bread and tea.
good as that. Good as
I was like, how long were you in it?
yeah. So that was 3 o'clock in the morning. I had to by law they had to keep us for 12 hours minimum minimum of 12 hours. Yeah. So the officer inside, because we started to shout and started to make a noise because we didn't know what's going on. They didn't tell us, what the whole process was. And,
You're young and you're like,
yeah, we didn't. Well, see, they didn't explain the whole process. They said a detective will interview us, but we didn't know what time.
so like an hour would feel like 3 hours.
And the thing is, that this happened on New Year's Eve. So that day, the day was actually the 31st of December when we actually got caught. And we were planning to go to this big rave that night to, see the New Year in.
Yeah.
We didn't expect to be
Locked
up. And what they were saying is that they have to hold us there until we get a court, till we go to court on the Monday. And the Monday would have,
really?
the Monday would have been then like the 2nd of January or something like that. Oh, stuff that. And I was like, oh man, this is, and that's why I was sort of getting, that's what was, that added to my depression, being inside of this holding cell to my friends.
And then no one's going to miss out on it.
And then going to Portsmouth would have been the prison we would have gone to until going into court, getting a court hearing. And the things that go on in Portsmouth, oh man. It's actually where Mandela actually was in prison there for a short while before going to Dictator State and Robben Island. When I was in Portsmouth, was just the name of the prison.
Because it sounded like a mall.
And that was Portsmouth. So it's POLLMORS. No, yeah, just Portsmouth. So
you guys had to go there and wait?
that was sort of explaining to us, and it looked like we were going to go there, and that added to my depression. Because guys become women there.
So you already know about.
So I knew about all. Yeah. Well, I was like, nah, man. I was like a scared type of thing. Yeah. I was like, nah, this can't be happening more. My father was a policeman. So it doesn't look like I'm going to Portsmouth. I was like, yeah, man,
You're knowing this.
yeah, knowing all of this. Friend is knowing it. Oh man. How could I do this, man? It's
So you're contemplating as well.
yeah. And so we met up with the detective. We eventually got all set up. Met the glasses. And again, I felt like we were like, the angels watching over us there. It was incredible. Again, you could see the type of kids we were. We weren't just like, these criminal, hardened criminals, like I said. we're actually just decent kids. We were just autistic.
Yeah.
And had a chat, you know, sort of get an understanding in our headspace and where we're at. And we actually came to an agreement. And he said, look, I can see you boys, decent boys. You were just out to, have a pint. So what they did was, after having a chat with us, we actually knew this one gang called the KKK. It was called the Kenilworth Killer Kids. And my friend actually knew a couple of the members. This gang was involved in break-ins. Yeah, a lot of break-ins in the specific area called Kenilworth. And then after this detective heard about this, we immediately went into a deal with the police. Yeah. So we said we would provide certain information to the police, as well as we agreed that we will go undercover.
Oh, really?
To get information.
Well, that sounds even scarier.
Yeah.
Just so that we can pause more.
Yeah. Just so that we could get out of the situation, and we were like, and
Experience.
yeah, and on top of the deal, we had to paint,
Like
to paint the carriage
Oh, okay.
to the original state that it was in. So this carriage belonged to the government, to the actual railway. Yeah.
Oh, so
No,
that's when you realized.
Yeah. So the railway was
South
South African Railways. So we had to. So it was their property, and so we said that's fine. So we agreed to it. We're gonna repaint it back to the.
Did you take photos of with Queen? Yeah.
We posed, but I was hanging off the carriage, and he was taking photos of me like a model. And
I'm gonna show you that.
yeah,
Because I need a visual.
yeah, I'll send it. It's on my Instagram page.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so so it's all good. We were happy as, because I mean we got out of there. We went to the rave. Made it to the rave park.
But you told all the girls.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a badass.
Yeah, exactly. And then so a couple of days later, I arranged that I'll get paint. Mixed up the color that we needed for the carriage to make it the color that it's needed. Everything was organized, all good. Got the compressor as well, got the electricity needed, everything. Apologized to the owners of the actual restaurant. It was like part restaurant, part like sort of a club. And that's also one of the clubs that we used to go to as well. Yeah. And they were happy, they were all good because they rented it from South African Railways. Right. Okay. All good. Like I said, we got all the paint organized. We were set up, ready to paint. We paint the carriage.
Yep.
Right. As we're going along, about a third into the repainting the carriage, South African Railways security come up to us. They're like, "What is going on here?" I said, "No, we're just busy, painting over the graffiti on it." And they were like, "Who did this?" So I said, "Like, no, we did it, but we arranged with the police."
Oh, make it on.
And they were like, "No, this is not on." And they stopped us from doing any further works, and they took all of our equipment that we were using now to
already entered over.
I already started to. So part of it was still showing. Went down to the cop shop with all our paint and everything that we were busy with, and then they wanted to press charges. And Yeah, they wanted to press charge
On you guys?
Yeah. So even though we were rectifying what we've done, they still wanted to press charges. They were like, they just had it in for us. And
So you guys had already spoken to
I really spoke to the police. But look, it was their right to press charges. You understand? Even though we made a deal with the cops.
what?
So the detective that we were busy with, like I said, very nice detective. He was like on our side.
But they can press charges whenever.
Yeah, he tried to speak to them, speak some sense into them, and said, "Look, yes, these kids need to do it. Look, the kids at the end of the day, but they're all busy rectifying what they actually done, and they didn't want to hear a word of it. They were like, these are the guys that's confusing all the brains."
Probably your things here. And then you look over there, you're like, there's some more over there.
Yeah. So like, these are the guys that's playing all the things, and he was like, like I said, he was on our side, and he's like, no, they're not like that. It was just a once-off thing. They're rectifying what they're doing. And they're like, no, we want to press charges. Right. So that means that I have to go to court. So I had to stop
everything that you had discussed previously.
Yeah.
That was a whole new thing.
Yeah. So that's when I got to court, and there was a court date that was created. So we had to show up for court.
This was in the new year.
Yeah, this was all in the new year. And then we got called before the court date, before we appeared. We got called into the inspector's office and said, Kurt, don't stress about it. We're going to make this thing go away. We're going to squash it.
But you have to go through the process, and the formalities.
Yes, we had to go through the formalities.
Press charges.
We saw so they still had to press charges, but it got arranged. I don't know how, in some mysterious way, the case just got dropped. I don't know how to this day. I don't know what details was discussed or what, but I know the detective had something to do with it. So I know the police had some sort of influence in that,
of course. But again, you have
I'm not
to
sure about that
go through the process.
Yes, exactly. So again, got off on that. We continued to, and what was said was that we were going to continue to rectify or to start on the train.
Yeah,
which we did. Yeah, and then yeah. So that one night, yeah, man. As I say,
I'm definitely got to check out that train.
Yeah. That's why I say art was really
it's crazy. I got like this visual too, like.
And then there it got to be documented, like more than what I actually anticipated.
Yeah,
because we were just gonna do a piece, take a photo, and head off, move on. But then, like I said before, we actually got to paint over it. We did our poses, did all like a b-boy stands, about the piece, and like we actually got more than we bargained for.
Story too. Yeah, locked up. The locked up experience.
Yeah, to this day, my mom doesn't even know about that stuff.
Fun.
Yeah.
In the distant future, man.
Yeah. I can tell her now. It's all good. So, yeah.
That's what children do. They go on their own little adventures. So many things that. And even me and my kids, I know my kids are going to go on their own thing. They're going to have their experiences. I just hope and pray in some way that they're safe. Learn from it.
Yeah. You got to let them go, man. And that's what I've seen with my kids as well. Even though you want to really hold up to them, as a normal father would want to just hold and protect, it's probably the best way. The best way they're gonna learn is to go on,
because everyone's different.
Yeah.
So you need to let them be themselves.
Yeah. And then there was another part where the way that I actually got my tag name.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to say it on here?
Yeah. Look, it's all, I'm doing all legal stuff, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Um, so there was this one group that I listened to.
Like a rap crew?
Yeah, it was a rap group.
Was it like a local one?
No, it was a
International?
yeah, it was. I just want to get it. Yeah. So there was this record called Channel Live. And then one of these songs was called Baddies. And like I said, I loved
Mm.
and then I just connected to this song and I thought, Baddies and Baddies, and that sounds like a cool tag name. Because I really wanted a cool tag name. When I was a kid, I thought I liked the word dice.
Nice.
Yeah,
Risky.
DICE. Yeah. Dice one. This was my thing.
Everyone's got a dice.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And
Number one.
and then I wanted it to be a bit more substance to it.
Yeah.
To sort of be linked to it. And then I was listening to this song, Channel Live on Mag Easy. I said, sounds cool. Yeah. So in the 90s, ism was weed, word for weed, just like Mary Jane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and I was always labeled as a mad guy. I was always a mad one. So I said, yeah, that sounds good. I can sort of relate with that. Relates to me. And then we were just hanging out one night, and we were busy smoking.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a couple that walked past us as we were smoking. So obviously they smelled the weed in the air. And then the minutes later, this police van rocked up, like came all wild towards us. And we were standing in a group.
You could obviously tell it was a policeman or was it?
Okay, little full lights on and everything, and it just rocked up and came in front of us. And we were just in shock, so we couldn't even run. Play it cool, and I dropped the joint. And flick it over, I just dropped it. And then they got out to the van,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Like pretty close.
yeah, they like
right
right
behind us.
Yeah, right in front of us. And then they got out, and it was police reservist, as well as an official police at that time. And then they questioned us, what are you doing? Or no, they didn't say what we're doing. They said we saw it, we know what you got, where is it? What's the problem?
Yeah.
So what we didn't know was the couple that walked past us was actually undercover. Yeah. And then they came by my side and they saw the joint was there, picked it up, got the evidence. So you come in with us. And then one of the reservists, I noticed, it was quite dark, it was at night. I noticed his face. And I was like, know this guy?
Yeah.
It was a brother of the girlfriend that I was going up.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, dude, me, like, what's up? And he completely ignored me. He's like,
Really?
So he knew you know that he knew.
Exactly.
He's like, what about name? And I was like,
Yeah, what's wrong with me, man? I'm trying to get this job.
Exactly.
Kind of job, man. I kind of
Exactly. And I didn't know it at that time that he couldn't show.
Maybe just bit loose and like.
Yeah. But I think he also had it in for me because I don't forget like after these 6 just come. So, yeah, so we all got put into a police car and then went to the police station. And
Is this a different one?
this is the different one. Yeah, it's the same sort of area, but a different one. And then we all got questioned. I mean, it was such a simple thing, just a big joint. We blew it up. Like, hey, we were just young kids.
When was this, like in the early 2000s or 90s?
Oh, 90s, midnight.
Oh, it would have been a big thing back. What is accepted?
Yeah, it wasn't accepted.
Not for a long time.
No.
Probably last 5 years. So back in those days, that would have been a series.
Yeah, when we weren't caught with anything like a large amount or anything, just like, yeah, just one half joint with it to hold it. And so I took the fall for it, and then they asked for my details, my parents' details. I said, yeah, it's my mom. And it's the number and I phoned my mom. My mom came to pick me up. Oh man, that was the hardest drive home.
Oh yeah.
You could just cut the tension through with a knife. Just explain, he was telling you how to point at you eat. Especially my father was a policeman.
Yeah.
And, you know, I could not do this. What's happening with my life? Yeah, of course you can understand. You can understand. And yeah, it was. And I was like, it's like I'm not gonna be doing this sort of things. I'm gonna quit, man. I'm gonna be off it. You know, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh damn, my name. No, it's like, how am I gonna do it now? Because I'm gonna stop smoking weed now. But now my name is like,
Yeah.
No, I mean, how am I gonna do this now? Because I
live up to this name.
exactly, I can't. Exactly. And then what happened was, like I said, I was into art. I studied art as a subject at school as well, and we studied various periods of art. And you know, you get the different styles of art. So you used to get cubism, used to get realism, and you also get another type with surrealism as well.
Realism.
Yeah. So all of those so it all ended with the ism. So even though ism was related to weed,
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like in the New Jane, like
yes, they used to call it the ism. It wasn't really too well known, but there's a couple of songs where they would relate and they speak about ism. And then I took that part and I said, that's actually perfect. Because the ism I can take off, where it's related to art. And then I then took the mad away and then I replaced it with sub. So, you know, obviously subway, sub art, the sub was in the underground because underground art, graffiti.
Yeah. So it's not like another
Exactly.
cubism.
Yeah. So that's where I came on. Yeah, that's how I developed my tag. So that's the story behind my tag name SUBIZM.
Yeah.
So which actually means
Now that makes sense.
It means sub art, which is graffiti. So
And you represent like a whole form of that.
yeah.
That's cool. That's a cool story, man.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stories behind people's names too.
Yeah. That's why I said I wanted something. I wanted to relate to it. Yeah,
And represented you.
Exactly.
Even like the tattoos that I have,
My body, it represents who I am. I didn't just want it to be like for the sake of art. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
I also love the way that the letters flow as well. In my name as well. I love the S. and I always wanted something with the S. I just had it just drew me.
Yes, so you can be so creative with it.
Yes, yes. And then and all the other letters that's and I love that I got 6 letters as well, because that's also a big thing. I love to stretch. I love the stretchiness of it in a piece as well. That you do.
You can make it long and then make it a bit compact.
Yeah, but I just love stretched up pieces. And then my style was I'd always do the stretched out piece with maybe like a portrait. I love doing portraits as well. Yeah. So my style is predominantly 3D.
Yeah.
And they're doing portraits as well. Like things that all realistic sort of art attached to it as well. Sometimes I'll do like just like a hand. I love to
Something, something with just futuristic.
That's it. Yeah. I'm not too of a fan with characters, even though I love characters. But something just draws me more to like the 3D and the realistic shapes, realistic rough faces and portraits.
The form of character.
Yeah, I love it. It just draws me like I can actually have like a flat surface and then
Bring some life.
yes, a bit of bring it out.
So, like, do you mainly put your stuff on Instagram? Was that like where you mostly put the stuff there?
I would put it on Instagram, and then I've got a page as well, Facebook. I don't really use it too much, but I sort of linked up. I linked it up with Instagram. So most of my posts are all on Instagram.
So, what's your handle? What's your Instagram?
Instagram is second SUBIZM, SUBIZM.
And look for the carriage. Look for the restaurant tray.
Yeah, you'll see there the story there. The whole story and description there. Yeah.
And so, like, what was it like when you came here, like painting?
Because we probably have similar challenges. Because I come from New Zealand and like the background and like for me painting over there, like you had a lot of access to walls, a lot of networking is already new. But when I came here, it was a bit different because I didn't know too many other writers.
Yes.
It's very difficult to find walls. It's lucky that Melbourne City have laneways in the CBD that you can paint, but there's there's a thirst for other walls. What I did was I got a good friend of mine in Sydney, and he put me through the artist that's in Melbourne. I said I belong to a crew called AWA here in Australia, and he put me through to his other crew members here in Melbourne, and linking up with them, I got more of an insight, the scene, and what goes here, different how things happen, what's the rules around painting, the legal. I don't do illegal walls anymore. And when I came here, I booked myself onto graffiti tours, one of the graffiti tours around the Melbourne laneways. That was cool to get an insight of how artists think here and how they do the art around Melbourne. And I hooked up with a couple of artists in Hosier Lane as well. I think that's why I love going to Hosier Lane. It's not a vibe. It's just
there's an appreciation.
Yeah,
People come.
that's it. Yeah, just a meeting spot for interesting people, people that share the same interest.
Interesting people.
Yeah. And again, it's around art. So I think wherever there's art, you will get, and if people that's around that art, we immediately connect because we all there for the same reason. So immediately there's some talk about this common ground, you know. Um, yeah, so coming here, even just
networking.
yeah, just even painting by myself, people come up to me, talk like the way I met you as well. I just came here by myself to paint, and you came up,
Same thing.
the same thing immediately.
Got rained on.
And
Twice.
yeah. Yeah, so that's one thing I love with Melbourne. And then also before coming to Melbourne, researching Melbourne, I was like, this is like the graffiti capital of Australia.
It is though. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and the amount of graffiti artists that comes out of Melbourne, and it's like really top level. So that really inspired me. I took walks around Collingwood, Fitzroy, all these areas. And I was so happy. That was one of the best moments of me just,
Exploring about Melbourne.
yeah,
The culture.
oh man,
Rob.
yeah. So I'm really, look. A lot of respect to the Sydney guys, kind of Sydney, but yeah, Melbourne. It's just different. Yeah.
It's just like immersed, man. It's just like part of the culture that the similarities.
And the thing happens, and like I said, like research in Melbourne, it came up as a tourist attraction, graffiti. So we have to nurture that. Exactly. That says a lot, and to actually contribute part of it, like a great honor for me. It's like, yeah,
Beautiful.
it's cool.
It's nearly 2 hours. Do you want to keep going? Or?
Yeah. What else you want to ask?
I don't know. What do you want to share? It's the story, man.
Yeah, share something. Think might be
well, like helpful. Start with that. Start with that.
What's some like advice that you could give like the younger generation?
Or any?
Yeah, I would say let's see. There's a lot of like starting out. I touched on it that I didn't know who I was as a teenager, and I think that's a struggle in a lot of kids. They don't, and a lot of kids, I know it's a big thing with kids not knowing who they are. They will dabble in a lot of things. Like I said, I was involved with weed, and you will try all of these things that you think is going to be helpful. That's probably find who you are, because you want to sort of gravitate against something that you think is cool. That's the
temptation.
Yeah, it's really going to sort of maybe stand up above the rest. But like I thought weed was like thing to do, and I didn't see anything wrong with it. But for me, it wasn't right for me. And then I actually there was a time where it was just getting so bad that I sort of want to. I knew there was something missing. There was like an emptiness inside myself, and I needed to find out what the emptiness was. Sort of had to go in sort of like a deeper sort of journey in life, and that's when I sort of found God in that time, and I just and at that time I got a relationship with Jesus. At that time, and I found him. I was like, the whole thing that I was doing, yeah, I found like a new sort of like the scales of my eyes sort of just like lifted, and I yeah, when I found this relationship that I had with him, I knew there was a lot of things that I was doing wasn't the right thing. And
But you didn't know at the time, like how detrimental your actions
yes,
were.
yes. And it was sort of, I was destroying myself, the way I was thinking, things that I was doing, things that I was believing. And like I said, we were all born with a purpose in life. Um, but there's no like sort of a manual or handbook saying that this is this is why you're on this earth, and this is why you or what like,
This is what to do.
yeah, this is what you do, and this is your mission. Like,
Yeah.
I believe we all got a mission.
Yeah.
Like, you found like your purpose. And this is one of the things that you're doing this podcast. And like you said, you want to help others, and you want to get other people's story out, as well as leave a legacy to your children's children. And I think, and I relate to that so much, because I believe that, like, before coming here, I wanted to know who was my forefathers, and I sort of did a journey, tried to find out who was my actual forefathers.
Like,
Yeah. How did they come to South Africa?
Yeah.
What was their life in Germany? Or the other part was St. Helena Island, which was predominantly Indian populated. That's where my grandmother came from. So a lot of those things were not archived like we touched on before, so we put the archive. And I got to find out a couple of things about my family, a couple of things of my grandfather. Like, I didn't know that he had a brother. And because I was there was a different branch of our family. There was a different branch of our family, and I couldn't understand why this family didn't know this family, but we share the same surname.
Yeah.
Like, whoever's got the surname, we all related. And then I discovered that they actually came together from this
Germany.
from Germany, yeah. They formed, or they created different families, and that's why when I would get the one family member, they wouldn't know this other family member, because normally they would sort of know each other, but like, they share the same surname, but they never knew each other. It wasn't that close. Yeah, but that's how I found out that this family come from two different brothers. Yeah. And the weird thing was that they shared the same names, but the names were sort of mixed up. So it was called, so his name was Carl, and then there was a Ferdinand in there, and then the other one was Ferdinand Carl. So it was some weird sort of setup, and their father was also like a Carl, and also had a Ferdinand. So it's all, yeah, it's a sort of weird sort of tradition that they sort of amalgamated. Yeah,
Time.
yeah. So finding my roots,
But even before then, I was probably a whole
yes,
few branches before then.
exactly, yeah. So finding my family, or trying to investigate where my family comes from, was something important to me. And yeah, so that's what I did before coming to Australia. And I know that as I'm here now, to document everything, so important, because it's going to be, my kids are going to know, like, who's this guy that went over.
they'll have like their whole life here in Australia or wherever they may be, and that will be all they know. But they, it would be so fascinating for them to see you, your story, how you got in.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I said it's just such a, yeah. So that's why it's, doing this podcast with other people. So
I think it's so important.
yeah. I always wanted to actually do my story, to tell my story.
Still do your story.
Yeah.
This is just a more candid, relaxed way of being who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just capturing these.
I've been on TV a couple of times. There was this one show that we did in South Africa. It's also my Instagram. Oh yeah, it's in Afrikaans, so you won't believe. I didn't have a chance to sort of add the translations to it. But with that, my cousin, he had to give for the cab. People just gravitated to him as well. And he got this opportunity to another contact. I'm actually not sure how it happened. And then they wanted to do a story about graffiti in Cape Town, but it was all in Afrikaans. So Afrikaans is our second language. We can't speak it, we can understand it, but we're not really fluent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that like a common thing, or is it just misunderstood?
It's an interesting thing because I wouldn't say it's if you don't speak a language every day,
you lose it. You don't use it. You lose it.
That's and our first language is English. And we just speak English at home, speak English at work, school. And then when I started to work, then I started to speak more predominantly. Then I got good at it. But when I was a teenager, I wasn't really that good at speaking it. And the whole interview was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
you're a bit nervous.
Yeah, so I was nervous. So we did the interview in this like shady room. So they had to look all sort of like dark.
Yeah.
Because it's now
underworld.
Yeah. It's all this mysterious world and this mysterious setting. And then the interviewer did like an interview in the room, and she discussed pieces that we're gonna do. And she asked like the origin of graffiti.
Just a little history lesson.
Yeah. And we just told what we believed to be the origin of from. And then we proceeded to the wall, just a random wall in the street. And so it was supposed to look like it was done illegally, but it was actually on the studio wall of the.
They won't let that. They'll be liable.
Because it was quite a decent piece that I did. So I mean, to do an illegal piece, you won't like take a couple of hours or you like what are the like in 5 minutes, yeah. So we did the piece at night, and they had like the camera footage on it.
They did it at night.
Did it at night, so those and we had like
legal element.
Yeah, we had like
that.
Yeah. And then at the end of the interview, the short story that she like admitted to the this was like all a setup. It wasn't that.
More the police.
Yeah. So it was just a setup, just to make
give them an idea.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was fun. It's good. Yeah. That was all.
So you had some TV exposure.
And that was one. Yeah, that was just one of it. And there was other things where we had like a festival. We had a festival, and I was doing like workshops as well for kids, with graffiti workshops.
And done quite a lot of them.
Yeah, and then we had
from trains to like educate kids.
Yeah, and then we were. I was on a couple of religious TV programs as well. In 2 of that. did, there was this one program about, it was different, it was different religions all across the world that came together to do art.
Wow, that's cool.
And you had to sort of,
Love that idea.
yeah, you had to sort of do your representation of your religion through your art. And
And then just
yes, and then I did a TV program on that.
how did that turn out?
Yeah, it's mad. I had sort of a vision, this 1 year of just looked almost like a apocalyptic vision, like the world being on fire, and there's like sort of chains involved, and then I did
Oh, you did something?
yeah, I did a piece, this sort of piece that I did, that that event, and then that was cool, and then I did it. I had articles done about my work as well, inspector art and things.
I remember like in the 90s, early 2000s, that's what like a lot of us had, articles and newspaper articles. And cut them out, and
Yeah,
it'll be like your like Facebook kind of timeline, and how we promoted there.
Yes.
But back in the days, it was like collecting your. I didn't have too many articles because I wasn't that popular, but
Yeah.
my friends, they're always in the paper, had their picture and like
Oh yeah,
underneath they had their names and then like an article about them.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
proud moment.
Yeah.
You keep them.
yeah. That was sort of like, I never got trophies. I never played sport. I wasn't really sporty. I never had trophies. I had friends that had trophies. But that was like my thing.
I mean, it went out to like the whole region. You just knew that people would read it.
Yeah,
That's just kind of like the Facebook timeline effect.
Yeah.
But pre that,
yeah.
so very significant to have those.
Yeah. So coming here to Melbourne, and then going through the lockdown, I got this idea to actually paint my garage, to paint my back gate. It was looking very dull, and so I thought of like a garden theme, and I did I did a bee and I did a butterfly. So very sort of cheery, because that was the time during lockdown. I think it was the first lockdown we went through, and played up at the havoc of my mental state. I needed to paint, and I couldn't get onto wall. Yeah, and I didn't know my neighbors, so we couldn't have a chance to actually meet. I think I didn't want to just go knock on the doors at eyes and
Very
everything.
sensitive, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, stay away from us.
Yeah.
That's the feeling. You couldn't even see your name.
Out
Out of respect.
exactly.
Make them feel awkward.
Because nobody sort of knew how to sort of know to one another.
All we knew was like, you look at someone and you might get it,
Yeah, exactly.
So stay away.
Yeah. So I think it was just a very, very weird time to actually sort of socialize, or very weird how to speak to people, approach people. So again, I did the only thing I knew how, and I started to paint my cake, and immediately people just loved it. They would
So on the
outside, yeah,
the people.
yeah. So sort of to kill two birds with one stone. I did the gate, because the gate was just looking so bad. I got to express myself and got to actually meet neighbors. And I got to put a smile on their faces, and trees, because I positive feedback was that was, everybody was just so depressed, and all just like, and then I actually got into the newspaper. I was newspaper with that smile, looked out there as well. And then I did a bowls club as well.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Did a good job.
Yeah, thanks, man. And that was also awesome because it was, I was going through a transitional period between jobs. And I just took some time off, and that was also quite like a healing for me as well. And meeting the retired community, and it was
Like wholesome, yeah.
yeah, the retired community. I just love that with them because they got so much wisdom. They got just so much to teach the younger generation. They're just, yeah, they were just so good to be around.
That energy and
High man energy, so friendly. Like even though they in a certain age, they just had these positive vibes that just came off. And doing that for them, they really wanted something on the walls because it was all plain. And doing that for them, just giving back into the community. God, it's nothing like it. Like I just love giving through art, giving what you have. Can't say you coming with nothing. I mean, coming with and giving of your talent, giving of yourself. That again, it's like I sort of feel like the my legacy is now on that wall now, and it's for others to enjoy.
And I know, like with those people would appreciate it. Yeah,
Exactly. And it's again just giving off that positivity, got me feeling happy, and something to talk about in a conversation piece. Yeah,
and you're giving it back into the work.
that's it'll just come back again.
Feedback.
I mean, yeah.
It's a win-win situation there.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, man. So yeah, man. So yeah,
It's awesome. And so I was kind of like thinking about this pretty much mentioned there. So like, tell me about your father. No,
yeah.
it may be a little bit sensitive. I don't want to get too, uncomfortable.
No,
But how old was he when he passed?
my father was about 62. Yeah, when he passed. But this is from a second marriage. So his first wife passed on. And then he then remarried my mother.
Yep.
And then he was 50 when he had me. And then he was like 56 when he had my sister. So he was like quite in his age. And he was like smoking cigarettes since he was a teenager. And he only quit when he was like 60 or 50.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he suffered like two heart attacks in his lifetime already, and then eventually succumbed to cancer of the prostate cancer. Yeah, so
It's very serious one.
yeah, I think at that time smoking they didn't see it as a health risk.
You can promote
Smoking back in those back in the day, yeah, promoting, just something deep, salted, yeah.
like I still remember like late 90s, early 2000s, people still smoked insult.
Yeah,
Is that foreign for me?
even smoking on on the plane.
Yeah,
Yeah, that actually is on the plane and
on the plane.
so crazy. Yeah. So so he grew up in a small town called Portugal. And that was about 1.5 to 2 hours away from where I was born. And he he did he started his police career as could have been early 20s, maybe late teenager, and say constable, police force, and he was with the police force for uh, yeah, about 40 years. Yeah, long service. What years? Yeah, and he loved gardening.
Oh,
He
therapeutic.
really therapeutic, and he loved it so much so he entered his gardens into competitions. Oh, like, yeah, and he would win like a couple of years in concession on the other
a very high level.
yeah, and then yeah, so it's supposed to be ill. Um, uh, the gardens that he used to be in. Yeah, all so he was also very artistic in that way. He would draw as well. He would have a bit of drawing, but not too yeah, on a level. But all of those things are sort of added to me, like he would be able to show me. And then on my mom's side was also like I said, all my cousins were artistic, not only in South Africa, but cousins in Australia as well. So definitely,
Your DNA.
yeah, yeah,
Creativity.
that's it. Yeah. So yeah, uh, so I said, yeah, so he passed away when I was 12. Um,
What was he like? Was he like a strict kind of? I can imagine being in the force. You know,
very,
I can imagine the strict.
very, very strict. I remember one day, we had a park that we used to play at, but it wasn't very safe. But as a kid, you want to go and play with the neighborhood kids.
In your
Yeah, in my mind, it was safe. Yeah,
mind, was happening.
yeah, but yeah. And
Like my whole life,
yeah,
which is like 8 years.
um, yeah, and yeah, he got so angry. I didn't tell him that I was going to the park because I knew I could have beaten to this specific park. And I was doing was just playing with my friends, and then and the guy keeps me from the park. All my friends, all my buddies, all in he had a belt. So I had it all the way to my house.
As you did back in those days.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so he was very strict. Yeah. But
Because he probably, of course, he's in there. He knows what happens after hours, you know, what has happened.
exactly. So he knows where, yeah, he knew where I had to hang out. Yeah, and it was to hang out and naughty. Yeah, very loving, but very strict. That's one thing I knew. Like he taught me before he passed away. He taught me how to. He started to teach me how to fly, and so I said, okay, get into the car, and then I got into the car, and then he showed me like the gears. This is how you work it. This is your clutch, the accelerator, and then they said, okay, put it in reverse. Put your clutch in, put it in reverse, and then just a little bit work out how you're gonna. Yeah. And then I was doing all of that, but I was looking at my feet instead of looking at where I was going.
And because you knew your eyes had to.
Yeah.
You had to make sure.
So all of those things are. That time I thought it was there, but not necessary. But I understand. As a part, I understand why. Yeah. 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 Good dad. So I just feeling at these times, you know, when I do cut my garden, do my garden, to cut my grass, you know, yeah, take me back to like how I used to work in the garden. We used to like, oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, my mom is going to be coming down in December. So I haven't seen her since I left.
December. Big deal.
Yeah.
She's been here before, obviously. She would have brought you here.
Yeah. So she came down twice.
Yeah, in 7 and 18.
Yes, I was saying it, but
that was Sydney. Has she been to Melbourne?
Nah. The only place that she's been to is Canberra. Walter. And Sydney. It's Sydney up the same 2.5 hours. Yeah. So yeah, so it'd be good to show her around Melbourne. my aunt that I told you about, my aunt Gwen, she passed last year. Like I said, she was like my yeah, she was really like a pivotal. She had a pivotal role in me coming over, um, and the support and just keeping that fire alive of Australia.
Yeah.
Australia, yeah, nothing. That was hard. Oh, yeah.
Just lost. Yeah.
Just last year, yeah, she also passed with cancer. Um, and that would get a hard time to. Yeah, I couldn't even go see her, even though I'm thinking. Yeah, even though I was in Australia, she was there on the border of Canberra and New South Wales.
Well, not
No,
that
no,
Korean.
no, I could have driven up if we were if I was allowed. So that to me was hard. You know, yeah. But now I still got my uncle there, cousin. So I was hoping to go see him soon.
Yep.
And it's been since my aunt's passing.
I see that, man.
Yeah, man. Especially with this Easter coming, I'm hoping to go Easter time.
Hopefully, another variant or sub-variant will pop up.
But did you hear about there's another variant?
Or variant.
I think people are, I think, I don't know.
I see it around though. Yeah, people are kind of really relaxed to it now.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's not the mental thing. We feel exactly and boost yourself like every month and you want it to exactly. So there shouldn't be this worry like it was when there was big question marks. So hopefully, yeah. I was talking to my missus the other week. I said we have to have an alien invasion. It's got to happen because it's got to be something that you'd think never would happen.
Wow.
You know, you got this coronavirus, then you got the war,
Yeah.
and you got, it's got to be something that you think,
Yeah.
this could never happen.
Yeah.
That's just when you think, maybe it's just got to come somewhere. Has to. This has to. It is just going to say,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
How you going?
So, something was on my mind last year. Yes. So your grandmother comes from like Indian, you say,
Yeah.
whereabouts in India? So there's an island called Saint Helena Island, and it's between South America and South Africa. So this I think that's along the slave route, Indian slave route. Um, I haven't traveled around this part of the world, so I'm not really, I'm not really sure where that is exactly. Very small island. And what was interesting is that my wife has a similar background where they also have Germanic roots, and as well as her grandmother comes from St. Helena Island. So it must have been quite a big slave route for quite a lot of it coming through that way. Also that island as well. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm actually doing a DNA test. So
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
she did hers.
So I want to do mine. I want to see what comes up.
Certain percentages.
So percentages of
I haven't done it.
yeah, I'll get back to this line. I'm hoping to do it tomorrow.
Let me know how you got.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
I still got, like I said, I just know the Germanic roots and Indian, but because she didn't even know she's got like quite a lot of Jewish DNA in her. To me, it's just amazing on how they actually find out.
How do they know what is like in your DNA? How do they find that out? unless like maybe DNA kind of has groups, and then they work off like you got a little bit of this major group, and you got a little bit of the group,
Yeah.
and then break it up there. Maybe. And the amazing thing what they do is they sort of they got a record of everybody's DNA, and they'll match yours closest to whatever else is in the record, and that's how they sort of.
Oh, that's another way.
That's how they can the database. Yeah, they can pick up if you've got a potential relative, and they'll say your DNA is matched. Really, I've heard of those stories that's how brothers, sisters, sort of connected, or other family members. That's pretty cool. Never know. So, with your grandmother having Indian descent and your grandfather having like German descent,
Yep.
is that from your mum or dad's side? Dad. Oh, so that's your dad's parents. So, what about your mother's parents?
English.
English,
Yeah. So they
like UK English.
yes. Yeah. Welcome.
Yeah, your DNA is going to be really fascinating, because that they do stuff for whenever.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm like, that's good.
My grandfather, the one that was Irish,
Yeah.
mostly Irish. My grandfather, he the one that was the carpenter, he was actually orphaned as a young kid, and then my grandmother's parents looked after him for a while. Oh wow! Until they passed, yeah, until they passed. And then my grandfather sort of fend for himself for a while, like in the 19 years. Imagine what he went and stops, because my grandfather was a hard man. So we had like a hard life. And again, he just told me such a good grandfather. With him, he, like I said, he did woodwork, and like the artist career, all good. Because the tendency with woodwork, you're cutting like machinery, got all these sharp blades, stuff, little accidents, yeah. And he managed to keep all his fingers. That was all good. There's a carpenter, that's your, it's your make tool. You have your hand and fingers. Most vulnerable. Yes, exactly. And then, so after retirement, he still had his machinery and still dabbling in the workshop in the back. And then this one day, my grandmother was busy, cleaning the floors, and she's on her hands and knees and she's wiping the floor. And then she notices drops of blood on the floor. And then she's like, where's this blood coming from? And then she looked up, and my grandfather was holding his hand. And he was in shock, so he couldn't say anything. And then he actually cut off all his fingers on the table saw. And I mean, he was eating
Four on one hand.
Yeah, four in all.
Your whole hand.
Yeah, like four in all. Bombings and everything. Yeah, and they couldn't. And I mean, he's at eating his age, so it's like, that was a bit of a battle. So, but I'm off the tools now. And they keep your fingers. Yeah, so I love you need them. Oh, yeah. I actually saw this one guy I've never seen. He actually he doesn't have really fingers on him, but he's adapted his technique with born with disability, but he's adapted his technique so that he can actually still spray and do a piece. I think he's got one finger, and then he's got
I don't know how he holds it or something like that. From there is a world is away, man.
That's a great message. There is. Will be what you.
That's the
That's what I reckon. I should leave it there, but I think you really need to come back.
Yep.
Because this has been a pleasure.
yeah, man.
Little by little, we're just
Yeah.
catch up as well. Stories.
After keep those off.
You got a message for the future?
Yeah.
Talking to your kids.
Yeah.
Kids.
Just yeah. Whatever you put your mind to, just do it. One of the things that I stress with my family is that we all got desires. We all got something that we think about, and we always wonder to ourselves, can we do it? I want to do it, but then a lot of times we don't do it. And our theme for coming to Australia was just do it.
If it feels right.
Yeah, I'm not really a Nike fan. I'm an Adidas fan, but I would say just do whatever you're feeling, whatever you're curious to do, just do it. Because you don't want to live life with regrets. You don't want to be on your deathbed and think to yourself, "Oh, I wish I've done this. I wish I've done that." But just do whatever, because time will catch up with you before you know it. You you're done. Don't let time catch up with you. Say, just do what you want and give to others.
No time like the present.
No, because that's one commodity you can't get back.
That's the absolute most important thing.
The time can never, no matter how rich you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter who you are, it's something you can never get back. Unless they build a time machine.
So like youths and rings and paint, you could get that.
Yeah.
Money, time,
Yes.
art is gone.
You gotta
Focus on the next lot of time that goes by as well.
Yep. just always remember that. Once this time is gone, remember for the next time. Remember that. Never forget that.
Just being in the moment.
Be in the moment. Just make the peace of it.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.